guest for today is a HBCU grad. Shout out to those HBCUans. She's an entrepreneur, and y'all, if I read correctly, she has 50 ways for y'all to make 5K. And now she behind the scenes right now, and I gotta ask her because y'all see, I purposely put on my Rattler hat for those that are listening on the podcast worldwide. I got on my Rattler cap, and she has on this head wrap. I gotta ask her about the colors, y'all. So, but without further ado, I need y'all to put y'all hands together and y'all help welcome the founder of Black Pretty and Paid LLC, Miss Jalynn Jones.
Hey, how you doing?
I am blessed by the best and beyond excited to have such a, what I'm gonna call a phenomenal woman sitting next, you ain't necessarily sitting next to me, but placed next to me today. I done got me a queen to sit and chat with and talk with y'all. And I'm gonna shut up because I want her to drop the jewels for y'all. So if you can, Miss Jones, please, because y'all, they know I'll butcher an intro. So let us know who are you, where you're from. Just let us know a little bit about Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones.
Well, I've had a life of people singing me that song. But thank you so much for having me on this amazing, amazing show. I can't wait to dive in. It was the name that got me, Faith, Finances, and Flow. So that's what I'm expecting today. And all transparency and honesty is going to be coming from my way. And so I'm sure the believers around the world will be able to tap in and find themselves somewhere in the conversation. Can't wait to read all the comments and all the feedback and see all the shares. I am Vision to Profit Coach Jalynn. I am the founder of Black Pretty and Paid University, and we're an affirmation enriched business coaching platform designed for melanated women. And so I like to say I help revolutionary women up level their sales and business mastery. So that's exactly who I am. That's exactly what I do. And I'm super excited to be here today. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Basically, I was born in LA, but I was really raised in Georgia. So shout out to everyone from the A. And I went to school at the illustrious Fayetteville State University. You got to put that illustrious in front. You gotta put that illustrious in front. Okay.
She started, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay, so this was not. I debated, y'all, if I was gonna do this before the show, during the show, behind the scenes. But I'm just gonna ask you, since you wanted to put that illustrious in there, does these sounds do anything to you? Oh, y'all see it? She moved. So you know about that HBCU experience. You know, it don't matter where you from, y'all, but we gonna say it's something about the F in the front of the names that just get it moving. So I asked the people, this head wrap of yours, is it it's beautiful, right? Do these colors happen to have any meaning towards you? Y'all, for those that are my podcasters, it's white. It looks like it's Kelly green and some in some form of pink. Those are colors that I'm seeing. So I'm gonna ask, is there anything behind the meaning of those colors, or you just like those colors?
I like these colors. Number one, green in honor of Mother's Day, which is the day that we're sharing space together.
Yes.
Green is my mother's favorite color. And I've actually found a lot of symbolism in the color green lately. And pink is a color of femininity. So it's always a reminder of, that divine femininity. But I do so happen to be a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Ooh, listen, y'all already know. Shout out to all of the AKAs out there. Y'all know I got a love-hate relationship, but today it's all love. It is all love. I don't want no smoke, and I'm working on repairing all of my relationships in the Divide 9 from this
You're
point
so funny.
forward. But now, all jokes, and we're gonna dive into that a little bit deeper with the with HBCU, this university thing that you got going on. Cause the rattler in me, shout out to all my rattlers. Just know the rattler in me feels some type of way, but I'm gonna ask some questions. But we're gonna say that one to a little bit later. So the first question that I have for you is, what exactly is your business? Like, the name is dope, Black, Pretty, and Paid. So what is your business? And you said revolutionary women. So do all my guys need to just check out right now?
Oh, absolutely not. That's been, when you start a business, you have to find your pocket. You know, you have
Mm.
to find your pocket of opportunity. So I actually love working with men. I love coaching men. There's definitely affinity there. I'm actually a board member of a nonprofit organization that actually develops young Black male entrepreneurs. But for Black, Pretty, and Paid specifically, when I came into this industry, I had to find my pocket. So I had to niche down. So, yes, the organization is for women right now, but we are doing some elevation and to see how we can incorporate men who actually do want to have the experience that we have for our women. And one of our annual events, shout out to HBCUs, is a conference where both men and women come together. So, who are professionals and entrepreneurs. But to my business point, my business is an affirmation, number one. I believe that every woman should feel Black. Every woman should feel proud to be Black. Every woman should be feel pretty, and we shouldn't have to exclude being paid in the process. So there's nothing wrong with getting paid, getting
Nothing.
paid to do the things that you love, getting paid to do the things that you're passionate about, and actually asking to be paid. I read a book a few years ago called "Nice Girls Don't Get Rich," and
Mm.
the book was basically about like the statistics around women and money and how we really tend to be underpaid and overworked and really just changing that and looking at the statistics. Black, Pretty, and Paid was created to help women learn the art of sales as
Okay.
well as actual business operations. So it's very nice to have a talent, and most people who have a talent think that they have a business. So they're like,
Mm.
oh, I can do this, or this is my gift. And they say, well, I'm going to start a business. But they never have the opportunity to learn what it's like to deposit that vision and to deposit that talent inside of a proven business model,
Mm.
especially if there's no one in their family or no one in their circle that has a business. So they end up in business overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. They end up spending a lot of money. They end up wasting a lot of time. They end up feeling like they're going to give up just because they don't know the elements of business. So the whole purpose of Black, Pretty, and Paid was to really bring back real business coaching to teach people the acumen and the operations of running a business and that responsibility.
Mm. You mentioned learn the art of selling. That is that's a bar right there. That it's a art to selling.
It's art.
And when I heard you, like, you slapped your hand, you was like, listen, we bringing back real coaching. So that touched you as a person. So my question is, what is your purpose?
Mm. My purpose is truly to bring women closer to their vision. So um I actually and honestly I'll even go back. I'm a gerontologist by education, and when I went to Fayetteville State, I specialized in healthcare management.
Nope, wait, we don't know what that is. I cannot let you. We gonna be like, hold on. Explain a little bit and then go on.
That is so funny. A gerontologist is essentially it's the social side of the study of older adults. So
Okay,
think like this. A geriatric physician is a
okay,
doctor who has a patients that are elderly.
Okay.
So they specialize in working with elderly patients. And the
Okay.
reason why they have to specialize in working with elderly patients is because the healthcare system really isn't designed to take care of elderly people,
Hmm. Okay.
because the healthcare system is really designed to cure, to treat, to diagnose. But there's a certain point in one's life when curing, treating, and diagnosing isn't as important. It's more so quality of life,
Mhm.
quality of care, navigating the levels of care, and even sometimes arriving at the end of life. And how do we do that with dignity? So I'm a gerontologist, which means I'm not a physician, but I am a social personnel that has went through the study of older adults so that I can pretty much help the society navigate how to care for this population that is growing really fast, especially prior to the pandemic, which was like a huge attack on older adults. But nonetheless, that's what the gerontologist is.
Okay. Okay. All right. That makes sense now. Cause listen, I wasn't about to be answering all them DMs like, what?
Like, what's a gerontologist?
So what is your that's your purpose? So you would you say your purpose is? So what exactly is your purpose then?
Great question. So, as I study older adults, and I was in a graduate program, and I learned that there was two different types of research, and one of those types of research was longitudinal research. So the
Mm,
best way to study an older adult is to look at their lifespan over time, because aging is determined by what you've done, your habits and your behaviors and your beliefs and you know um your surroundings. That is what dictates the way you actually age. So the only way that we
mm,
could really understand aging is if you understood people over the span of their life. So I went into healthcare, and so most women, most people, especially those that look like you and I, we have a huge heart for helping. So we
mm-hmm,
typically say, well, my purpose is to help people, but that's not super detailed. So my purpose has always been, to help people, but I realized it was specific people that had a need for education in a specific area that would literally change their life. So when I went into healthcare, I actually worked in the field of hospice and palliative care, which is another phrase that some people don't know, but it basically is the level of healthcare that takes care of people that are at the end of life or that have a life-threatening
mm,
illness. And what I realized through my research in school and through working in this field is that Black and Brown people experience way less dignity in death because of our number one financial and economic situation. So
mhm,
not having real estate, not having businesses, not having long-term financial plans, not having estate plans, not having healthcare power of attorneys, not knowing what their wishes are, no one else in your family knowing what your wishes are, because all you used to tell people is when I go, just don't cremate me. And that's all
right.
we know. Like, all we know is you don't want, there's this older lady on Instagram, and she said, I just don't want Bertha at my funeral. So all we know is that you don't want Bertha at the funeral and that you don't want to be cremated. But what people don't understand is that death and dying in life happens over the course of time.
Right.
So you may not just suddenly go. It may be 3 years, it may be 8 years. So to kind of tell you how I got into entrepreneurship, when I saw that the people that did have dignified deaths had businesses,
Mm,
had estate plans, had financial, freedom, had a family structure to where someone knew the wishes and they were written as the power of attorney. And these
mm,
people got to have a very dignified experience, and the family as well didn't have to experience the trauma of trying to figure everything out while also trying to care for their loved one. I say, you know what? I do have this entrepreneurial spirit. I
mhm,
do have, the things that can help us go back in a longitudinal way. Remember that word from earlier,
yeah.
to kind of help people at a certain point of life. It's going to help them have a more dignified experience. So when we talk about generational wealth, I really feel like my purpose, in hospice was to kind of breathe life into that industry, to show Black and brown people that, this isn't a scary thing. There can be dignity in death, and there is a way for us to do that. And in entrepreneurship, it's been said by some of the people that I serve, I breathe life into Black businesses. So I feel like that is, a part of my purpose. And I do that by literally taking people's vision and making sure that it is secured inside of a business model that is successful and sustainable beyond their life. We don't want businesses dying with people, right?
Right.
We all gotta go. That's what the words say, and I always joke around, especially with my mother, who's real churchy.
Okay.
And I say, churchy folks, we love talking about going and be with the Lord. But when it's time to go and be with the Lord, we be a little nervous and a little scared. So if you really want to go and be with the Lord, if you want to get yourself together because you got somewhere to go, we need to actually get ourselves together so that before we leave this earth, we actually leave the things here that we were designed to leave so that the earth is better before we exit. And that's what I help people in, is the area of business.
Wow. You said a lot, you dropped a lot. And at the end, you said breathe life into Black businesses. I like that, the breathing of the life. I started thinking about how in the Bible, how it said, you started breathing life into those dead bones. The bones just needed a little bit of belief. They needed a believer, just a whew. My bad if y'all listening, I blew into the mic, but so I just gotta pour that in. So for doing my research, I like to dive in a little bit. You walked away from a promising career in order to breathe life into Black businesses. So if you can walk us through the process or the season that you decided to go all in this process.
My. Yeah. I waited a long time and climbed a lot of ladders and quit a lot of jobs to get to where I was. And it's very interesting how God works, because this is why you have to be careful what you say, because he doesn't forget. You may have forgot because you got so busy with life and life went and you just forgot, but he didn't forget. And I have been talking about entrepreneurship and having a business and, leading organizations and all these things for my entire life. But I went into healthcare. I went in being a certified nursing assistant, which is a very humble position. I made $7.25 an hour at the time. And I worked my way up little by little from $7.25 to $8 and $8 to 11 and 11 to 12 and 12 to 15 and 15 to 18 and 18 to 20 and 20 to $32,000 a year, which still wasn't enough, and 32,000 to 50,000, which still wasn't enough. You ever tell yourself, I just need to make 50K and I'm be good? And you get there, you're like, you realize you've been at a deficit the whole time and you've been pretty much operating on pure survival, because that was it ever going to do. And so I eventually, right after that $50,000 job, I was promoted in a few months, and I was raised up to like 60 something thousand. And I ended up resigning from that job after feeling really misunderstood and by my boss, and kind of abused in my workplace, and a lot of microaggressions that traumatized me. Okay. And I ended up leaving that job, and all good folks on this podcast know that you don't leave a job until you got a job. So of course I looked for me a job while I had one, and when I secured that job, I left. And that led me closer to getting my first six-figure position, and also realizing that I have a superpower when it comes to sales. So I had a very promising career. And what that season looked like, when I decided to get up and leave, it looked like George Floyd being assassinated. And it looked like George Floyd being assassinated, and Black people all around the world having to relive the nightmare that we hate having to live, but we've been living since American history. Right. But this time, George Floyd's death, and I don't know if people know this, but it changed the game for Black owned businesses and
Okay.
Black employees and Black professionals and Black students. I don't know if anybody realizes that. It's called the Floyd effect. And so what happened during that season of transition is that had just happened. I lived in downtown LA, riots were going on, helicopters were flying every day, and I was in hospice and palliative care helping people transition,
Okay.
watching the world in sadness, going to work in sadness, and helping people through this stage of their life. And I was just looking at my job and realizing so much is going on in the world and so much is going on with my profession. I do something that is a very honorable work, but behind the scenes, it was about money. The
Mm,
company that I worked for, basically, the more deaths that we got, the
right.
more money we made. And it just always sounded like it was a rejoice over, ooh, another patient with a terminal illness that's ready to die. Let's
Wow.
bring some more in and let's bring some more in. And it just didn't feel right. And I was a top performer on my job.
Okay.
So the stakes were always high. I had to perform. And it just stretch me. Is this really how I want to be doing this? Is this really how I want to be operating in my multi-purpose? And
Mm,
it wasn't. I didn't like the fact I didn't have enough time for my entrepreneurship. It's being crammed into long, long, long nights, and then business started. My business with my job started early, early mornings, and I was being stretched, and I was overwhelmed, and I was still feeling underpaid, even though I was making six figures.
mm,
Because I realized that I was making these people six figures a month, six figures a
right.
quarter, millions of dollars a year. And I had to step outside of myself. There were tears and there was fear, but I decided to go all in because I felt like I had met the people that could help me get there. And sometimes that's all it takes is meeting the people. It wasn't that I was excluded from any struggle. It wasn't that I was excluded from any fear, but I chose to, like one of my friends says, she has an organization called Do It Scared. And I
Ooh.
decided to do it scared, but do it. And that's what that season looked like, transitioning from a six-figure job to build what I know is a multi-million dollar empire.
Do it scared. Yeah, shout out to the friend that started that movement and made certain that you understood what was going on with Do It Scared. Now you mentioned a popular word that we use here on the Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast. You said that you have a superpower when it comes to selling. So my question is, I usually ask our guests, what is your superpower? So I'm gonna
Hmm.
ask you again. Now, if you say selling, I need you to break it down. But what is your superpower and why?
Yeah, my superpower, one of them, I have a few,
All right.
but this one is so important because if you learn how to sell, you will never be hungry. You'll never be in lack because you can literally create business when you know how to sell. And I'm
Mm,
not talking about let me figure out how to persuade people to buy something. Let me figure out how to, push people and be sleazy. Unfortunately, some people do take it that way. I'm not responsible for the way people receive things because what I say is if you don't have sales as a superpower, then you will be offended when someone sells to you. But on the other side of that is when you're looking to sell to other people, they will say no because of the energy that you harness when people try to sell something that you need. I only sell things to people that it's pretty much like a requirement. It's something that's a necessity to them, in business particularly. So I don't sell socks. We need socks, but I don't feel like socks need a salesperson.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Socks don't need a salesperson. And socks don't have a purpose that's going to change our lives unless we just super cold, or we just want to be comfortable. It's a comfort, it's not like a necessity. But if you're a business owner that is, your business is hemorrhaging because you don't have certain skill sets like sales and marketing and business development and content creation and accounting and legal and all these things that we need. If you don't have those skills and you're a business owner, your business is hemorrhaging and you're literally at major danger for your business dying. So I sell with the intent to change people's lives. So yes, it's a superpower. And how do you break that down really? It all has to do with you leaning into your audience of people that have a necessity for what it is that you do. Once you find that market of people that recognize that this is their need, you no longer have to persuade, you no longer have to convince. All you have to be able to do is have the proper messaging and articulation and human connection to walk them through to their yes. That's all.
Hmm. So identify the problem and then walk them to the yes. Is
Yeah.
it is that simple, y'all. When you know what you're doing, and when you got a good coach, hey y'all, Miss Jones, that's the coach that you want. Cause I've never heard somebody explain it so simple. They have pain, show them their pain, walk them to the yes.
Welcome to
Look,
the yes.
look, that was
Welcome to the altar.
welcome to the altar, y'all. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. So, speaking of Jesus, we for ratchet Christians. If ain't nobody else gonna identify, I'm a ratchet Christian, so you talking my language right now. Y'all, please, if y'all getting any value, make certain y'all smash that like button. Make certain y'all share this with all your friends and family because we just getting warmed up. I ain't even asked the juicy questions just yet. So, speaking of faith, since we at the altar, we gotta shift this one to the faith side. What role does faith have in your business and or your decision making?
This is so good. And if you're a business owner, especially if you happen to be a melanated one, and you don't have the practice of faith, don't worry. Don't even worry because you'll get it. You're gonna get it. Like, and this is a transparency moment. I consider myself to be a millennial.
Okay.
I have been in the church since I was a child, from Sunday to Sunday, Church of God in Christ. At the age of 5, I even lived less than a half a mile from my church, so we used to walk to church.
Okay, now.
I was in the choir. I can quote scripture that I ain't even read yet, that I may not be able to pin down on the page. But when you're a believer, you get that gift to be able to get those downloads and those deposits because it's been in your spirit for so many years that your brain kind of knows how to pull it out and give it to people. Right. But I experience not feeling fed by church anymore. And it was because as I got older, I started to see the logistics and the government and the business and the popular, the what do you call it, favoritism of the church. And when things don't feel right to millennials, we don't just stay.
Right,
if that job don't feel right, we got another job by Tuesday.
Right.
And the same thing with the church. Millennials have shaken up church because when things didn't feel right and when we didn't feel fed, we left. We didn't leave God because that's a big debating topic is you can't leave the church. Church is a building. I decided to leave the building because the building had a toxicity in my life at a certain point of time. But I will admit, this is the reason why they do tell you to stay close to the building because the further you get away from the building, the further you get away from the teaching a lot of times because many of us aren't disciplined enough to be creating the atmosphere of church in our everyday lives. And so I asked God if I could step away from the building in like 2017. And through that time, I found myself getting farther and farther away from church and farther away from the teaching. But when I got back into entrepreneurship, right before that, in 2018-ish, 2018, 2019, I went to a church in California. I was visiting for the first time, and the pastor prophesied it to me, told me my address was going to change, told me I was playing extremely mediocre on my job, and that when I went back, I would not be playing mediocre anymore. I was in a job that was paying me like $16 to $20 an hour, And right after that prophecy, I actually moved to Los Angeles. I moved to Los Angeles literally in a 30-day time span, closed on a $50,000 job. So I went from $20,000 an hour to a $55,000 job within 30 days. So it's funny how you'll be playing mediocre. You'll be playing mediocre, right? And then as soon as somebody tells you what you're doing, you tap into the prophecy, you literally have like accelerated growth, So when I hopped into entrepreneurship, and I just hope this saves someone, I hope this makes somebody rejoice, and I hope it really brings somebody closer to God, because I feel like being an entrepreneur is a major ministry. Even if you think about
Ooh,
pastors, they're entrepreneurs, right?
okay.
Ministers are entrepreneurs. Evangelists are entrepreneurs. They're also salespeople. They're also marketers for the kingdom. Amen.
Amen.
Um, but entrepreneurs are all of those things. And you have to be so in line with the Holy Spirit, which lives inside of you, and that voice, and actually like the voice and the teachings of God. You have to be in direct alignment with that to really operate in your business, because ideas and innovation come from your creative gift, the creator. And so when you
Ooh.
tap into entrepreneurship, if you only know if you're doing it right.
You did it again. You did it again. You did it again. You slipped in about the creator ideas come from. How did you ideas come from the creator? We're creatives. You kind of slipped that piece in. Break that down. Break that down.
Yeah. I'm a creative. Yeah, you're creative, but where is it coming from? We don't just have this brain this like has a little recycling machine or bin over here, and we just automatically have these downloads. Those downloads come from your relationship with Christ. And if you think you're creative now and you don't have a relationship with God, man, get linked up with the
Ooh.
creator, the actual
Ooh.
plug, the actual source. My strategies can't be found on Google. My strategies, you're not gonna find them in a textbook. My strategies come from my clients. As soon as I meet a client, the way I know that they're my client is by the speed of the downloads that I get for them. I can literally see people's blueprints over their life and over their business very quickly because of those downloads that I'm receiving. And
Okay.
I've been in the room with other multimillionaires. This is a woman named Darnyelle Harvey. And she says, like, I literally have a gift that I can see your entire business. So when people decide to say no and they decide to hold themselves back, I feel bad for them because I just got a glimpse.
Wow.
So faith has a nucleus place in my business. God, and the beauty about being an entrepreneur is we don't have to hide God no more.
Mm.
If you work for a school system, you got to kind of hide God because you don't want to offend nobody.
Right.
And in your place of work, y'all got to have them secret Bible studies because you can't really say, oh, thank you, Jesus, in the middle of the meeting. It's gonna look weird, and
Right.
it's not a part of the culture. But when you're an entrepreneur, it is our opportunity to reinvent corporate culture within inside of our businesses.
Mm.
So when I just went to this weekend to see a client, this owner of a multi-million dollar, probably soon billion-dollar agency, our entire meeting with her 12-person team we started with prayer. We talked about God, and literally her training and performance reviews with her team are this is discipleship, and I'm waiting for them
Mm.
to get closer to their gift and to trust themselves more because this is discipleship. So we have this beautiful power to inject faith all throughout our businesses. So it brings you closer to God. So no matter how many times you've veered off and stepped away, if you're going to decide to be an entrepreneur, oh, you're gonna be close to God because there's some cycles to business, and you're gonna need them in all cycles.
Oh, you speaking my language. Like you speaking my. I'm claiming it. They say you got to claim it. You my new best friend. Uh,
Hey, friend.
hey friend. And so as my new best friend, right? It's Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast. We got the faith side, and I purposely wore my All In Fitness shirt because this is an acronym that stands for All Legal Look Now. That's where the business started from, right? Should entrepreneurs, because I know you understand the power of a coach. Yep. Should entrepreneurs have a health and wellness coach?
They should.
Why?
Entrepreneurs, they need two health and wellness coaches. Okay. You need a therapist or a counselor. Oh shoot, you need three. You need a therapist or a counselor. You need a spiritual advisor, pastor, minister, whatever you would call it. Like I know, like some people have an apostle or they have a prophet that they speak to. You also need that business coach, but here's another piece of transparency, because I'm actually starting over 75 hard tomorrow, because whenever you are there's a certain mental toughness program that I decided to say yes to because it did something for my spirit. It gave me that 40 days and 40 nights feeling, something that stretches you. It's one thing to do a little fast for a few days.
Yeah.
He fasted for 40.
40.
And we complain about intermittent fasting.
Listen, every Lent year, I be like, Lord.
It's hard. It's not meant to be easy. And the truth is, and transparency is, I felt the challenge about 16 times already. And so but the thing is, no matter how many times you fail, you have to start over. If you do not do it exactly like I say, I hope that somebody catches this in this fitness part, in that faith part, because the word isn't designed for us to do what we want and then a little bit of that. It's designed for you to do it exactly how it says. And when you do it exactly how it says, that's when you get the massive result that he promises us. And the thing about fitness, God has told me, and I have it written down in a journal. And it sounds so simple, y'all, but I'm going to tell you why this health and wellness coach and this fitness part is so important to business. He told me in my journal that your health is attached to your wealth. And he went further to say millions are connected to your millions are connected to other people's millions. So if you help other people make millions, you will make millions. But your health is connected to your wealth. So I'll help people make millions. And I done helped some companies make some millions. I've helped my clients make thousands and thousands, and give me a few years or give me this year, we'll be at the millions. But that health connected to that wealth is the part that my mind has not had the toughness to stay connected to. And I have a crazy belief that when I commit to my health and wellness, I feel like the overflow seed that God has been promising me for 3 years is going to be released. So those millions that I'm asking for, the millions that I have for other people, is connected to the health and the wellness. And so every time I have to give up, I'm going to give up, but I'm going to start again, because once I reach that 75 days of following through, y'all, I'm going to have to come back and tell y'all how that went. Because I know for a fact my millions are attached to me getting clear on my health boundaries and getting clear on a healthier lifestyle, not just losing weight to go to Jamaica, because I got that pretty bad. I lose some weight for a trip or an appearance. But I'm about to be 30 at this point. I need to be losing weight for my health, for my longitudinal, aging process, Right. So it's very important to have a health and wellness coach.
Okay. So you touched on a couple of things in my lane, my expertise that I get just overly excited about. Well, let me back up, y'all. I gotta say, congratulations for identifying and accepting the challenge that it's time to do something different. That health is wealth. For understanding that God is talking to you because he has something he wants to do through you. I say this all the time. Health is wealth. I tell people all the time, listen, I want you to train with me, but I can't train everybody in the world. So if you can't train with me, or if I'm not the perfect person for you, I just need you to train. I need you to move your body. So yes, in 75 days, if you want to schedule another interview, come back on here and tell us, or we go and do an IG live or something of that nature. Let's do that. I want to talk about it. And I would be remiss because it's so funny, y'all, how God works things out. I only got a couple more questions for you. I won't hold you.
Mm-hmm. You're fine.
It's funny. Not even funny, y'all. Let me prove to y'all how God works. So I plan my notes, as we should all do. We got to pre-plan, make sure we know what's going on. Absolutely. And I wrote down, let me get to that note, y'all. It was this question, so I wanted to ask. And so it's a two-part. I'm going to ask the full question, right? So the first part I was going to ask you is how many people you had on your team. And the second part I was going to ask you is, can I be y'all coach? And the reason being is, now I have a program, it's called Fitness Bible Study. True transparency, y'all. Wasn't even going to talk about this one. And well, I was going to ask this in my next part, so it's going to lead me into the next question. But I have this program that God told me my mission is to spread his word through fitness. And when you just said your health is attached to your wealth, when we start taking our health serious, our millions will start flowing. I got goosebumps, y'all. I felt the Lord talking to me like, watch, every time I bring a guest on, I'm going to speak to you and I'm going to speak to your listeners. So everybody in your group, this 75 challenge, that might not be for everybody. Some folk may need a little bit more hands-on. Some people may need, some folk, reason that we create Fitness Bible Study is some folk are tired, especially my queens, of being called out of their name when they're supposed to be motivated. Like, I'm supposed to be listening to the music and motivating me, and you're calling me out of my name. You're telling me what you're going to do to me, and that's not motivating. And I ran from it for years. So I want to start working with Christian entrepreneurs that have businesses, that have staff, to provide their staff that mental support. Because you were talking about coaches, they basically getting the spiritual side of the coach and they're getting the physical coach tied in one with the Fitness Bible Study. So the question that I have for you as I transition to the next one, it's going to be a little long, okay? But I'm going to try to condense it. I would like to be the coach for your team. We can talk about that one, how many y'all have, numbers and everything. And I checked your schedule, right? Yeah, listen, this is how you do it. I learned this. We were in a meeting together. Look, this is how God works things. I just noticed this before I got on. We were in a meeting together last year. On your Instagram, you got a picture. Yes, but watch how it was. How God do it. You put a picture on your Instagram of a guy that I look up to, David Banner. So you were at an event that I wasn't at in person. I was there as the virtual squad.
Virtual. But
we were in the same spot. So I know we've been crossing paths, and God was like, look, it's just a matter of time. So my coach is one of the coaches, I think it might have been for those workshops. They teach us, listen, y'all, sometimes you just gotta put yourself in position. You gotta look at the plans and just tell them all they got to do is show up. So I checked your schedule, and from 3 to 4, there's nothing on the schedule. We would like to put Fitness Bible Study at BHO. And what is BHO? Y'all, it's around a name. Yeah. So this is why I said earlier that I feel a little way with my Rattlers, because it's talking about a combination of two names in this HBCU experience. Well, let me let y'all know, okay? For those that are listening, there is no sound that you will hear that is better than the incomparable, the highly imitated, but never duplicated Marching 100 in the sounds of FAMU Homecoming. However, Ms. Jones has put together a program, an experience, a university called BHO. So I told you it's going to be a little long, y'all, but I had to hype this. I know you got me. As a rattler, this is the pettiness in me, okay? This is how I got the question. As a rattler, I'm asking, what is BHO and why should rattlers care? Not just because I'm going to be there from the 3 to 4 time slot, before we go into the pep rally.
Absolutely. It's the alignment for me of, and I think I just want to break it down too, because some people think going to a conference is, oh, let me pass out my business card to everybody. Let me tell everybody about my business and let me tell everyone I need their business now. When really, business is a marathon, not a race. It's not a sprint, you know? And so that, what you're talking about was this time last year.
Yeah.
Like in June of last year. I'll be virtual this year, you know, at that same conference. And that's so amazing that we were there. We didn't even really know it, but we were crossing paths, and God was already orchestrating the steps.
Yes.
And the man, you're gonna love this. I actually I actually mapped out the Black Entrepreneur Homecoming Experience, BHO, while sitting at the table at the conference that you were at
Yes.
virtually.
Yes.
And I actually
Yes.
picked out the speakers because one of them collected a 7-figure award. One of my coaches collected a 6-figure award on that day. So it's very amazing that you said that. And then to come back to what you asked me, the answer is yes. I have a team of one, but I have a social club, and I also have a program. And one of the initiatives for Inevitable Wealth, which is the program, is a 16-week program, is that there's a health and wellness component and a spiritual component. And ironically enough, the thing about 75 Hard is there is no coach. 75 Hard is not a fitness program, it's a mental toughness program. So the way it works is it's 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each. One of them must be outside. This is the reason why it's not hard. It's not hard directions, but it gets hard to follow because it's not easy. Working out 2 times a day is a lot for the average person because of time management. And then having to do it outside, rain, sleet, or snow, is also a mental toughness thing, especially for the girls that don't like to get the hair messed up. So you work out 2 times a day, one being outside. You have to read 10 pages of a professional or personal development book a day.
Okay.
And you also have to take a progress picture a day. And you have to have a spiritual piece or wellness piece each day. And so that's really, I think, all that it is. If I'm missing something, it's okay. But they tell you, if you need to get a fitness coach, get a fitness coach. Get someone that's going to hold you accountable to do the thing. So it's totally in alignment what you asked. And so there we have some other blocks and things that we could talk about. But I was even going to say, hey, I have some things on my vision board for BHO, and one of the things is having a fitness segment at the event. And I actually wanted to be, if we could change that time, I want it to be like in the morning, like 6 a.m.
I do it every time you need. I got you, friend.
Perfect. Okay, friend. So you on a team. So all we got to do is work out the logistics on the back end, because that actually was a plan of mine, was to orchestrate the fitness part of the event. So you were in alignment. Y'all, congratulations to the alignment.
Y'all, this is so real, y'all. And you only gonna get stuff like this with the Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast. And you said it earlier. It's like how God aligns stuff up, y'all. We didn't know by saying yes and by showing up. I could have easily said, it's virtual, I ain't gonna do this one. But no, I was there. And God already said by just being in the room, you put yourself in position. God likes those. Faith without works is dead. When you start moving, y'all, not just with the wellness, when you move, God will align and put you in the right rooms and give you the courage to reach out. Well, how did you say it? Do it scared. When I reached out to Miss Jalynn, y'all, Miss Jones, I said, listen, ain't no way she gon' wait a minute. And I literally stopped. This was true story. I said, ain't no way. Whoa. You a king. I literally paused. I paused at you a king. It is an honor to be able to be on the Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast. Not bragging, y'all, but understanding that this is God's work. Because I'm a fanboy. So I'm going to highlight my guests in a way that only God can do. And I ask him to do his will. And God is like, you don't even know. This was already ordained. So I got I got two more questions at the most. How? Okay, I gotta ask this one because they gonna get on me. This is a new section that we calling this though. It's called Drop the Sauce. All right, drop the sauce. And this is where we're asking, can you give our listeners some game that's usually behind a paywall that's so hot they can't hold it and need to implement ASAP?
Oh, love it. Perfect. And I also want to answer the question about why should rattlers care? What is BHO? Why should rattlers care? BHO is an acronym that derived from GHO and NoHo. GHO is the greatest homecoming on earth. Shout out to North Carolina A&T.
She didn't mean the greatest, y'all. She meant the greatest that she went to. All right. All right. Go
Ah,
ahead. Go
ah,
ahead.
ah.
Go ahead.
You ain't gonna have them Aggies coming for me, okay? Listen, he said that. He said it.
Tell him Mr.
And
All
then
In said it.
Mr. All In said that. Y'all gonna have to tussle with him. And then NoHo actually is a acronym from Fayetteville State University, which was the number one homecoming on earth. One year we were named the number one homecoming on earth, and we just stuck with it. And so I took that and said, I have this company, Black Pretty and Pay. HBCU culture lives and breathes through our company. So there's no other way to have an annual event, a business conference, an annual event at an HBCU centric company than to have a homecoming. So BHO is the first HBCU inspired business conference in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's the Black Entrepreneur Homecoming Experience. I am not calling y'all no ho, okay? Because somebody said, well, do you think you should change the name because ho is in there? And I'm like,
No.
if people are not mature enough to realize that it's an acronym, I can't do nothing for you. You don't need to be in the room. Okay.
Right.
But why should rattlers care? Well, if we call a spade,
Okay.
um, your school historically is responsible for a lot of the Black talent and professionals in this nation
Mm.
historically.
Mm. Come
And so
on.
that means that that's where the entrepreneurs live. That's where the professionals live that have generated these skills that have driving multi-million-dollar companies, and those skills can actually get deposited into a business model. This event is for professionals and entrepreneurs who have a love for Black culture and HBCU culture. We have fun, but we're also revolutionizing the way we're going about building generational wealth.
Mm.
Rattlers should care because y'all are the cream of the crop,
Mm.
right? Rattlers should care because this year is basically a glimpse into what you've been in history, which is a part of the civil rights movement.
Ooh.
I believe that Black entrepreneurship is an extension of the economic ask of Martin Luther King, of Malcolm X, of Louis Farrakhan, of all of our leaders that of the Black Panther Party. They weren't asking for us to hold hands with people that didn't look like us. We weren't necessarily even asking to be in your areas and be accepted by you. We were asking to have our basic human right of respect. And before Martin Luther King passed away, he said the real truth is that, this is ad lib, but he basically said in all words, I've led my people into to a burning bush because really the only way to have the true right of freedom among Black people is through economic shift.
Mm.
So entrepreneurship is our vehicle to an economic shift. We owe Martin Luther King. We owe Rosa Parks. We owe Mary McLeod Bethune. We owe Harriet Tubman. We owe Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan and all of these leaders. We owe these leaders the justice of finishing the mission. They did the basic human rights part already. Can we get organized around economics? And if we so happen to really shift into this civil rights movement extension, we're going to be marching for it. We're going to be, hopping into the fitness with it. We're going to have fun with it. And we're also going to sit down and we're going to educate ourselves because this is us honoring our forefathers. This is us taking Black Wall Street, which was a place in
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and there were other communities very much like it that were never named in history.
Right.
One being in Wilmington, those were burned down. People went into those communities and tore it up and
Right.
sabotaged it. But what the folks can't do is ruin digital real estate. So we
Ooh.
have to we are the culture online. So what we have to do is be the culture and monetize the culture and take Black Wall Street and turn it into a digital place. And that's what we're going to do together. So Rattler should care because y'all have always been at the front line of history. So come on and be the front line. Come on and show out. You don't want no other HBCU
Mm.
showing y'all out, do you?
Mm. You
Do you?
listen. All I can say is Rattlers. I ain't never had nobody stroke our ego in the way that Miss Jones just stroked our ego, y'all. Yeah, we gonna chop this thing up. We about to send this to all Rattlers worldwide. We about to show up, yeah. And I
Okay.
love y'all.
Showing
Also,
up.
you, I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but knowing that you got some pearls, you probably did. She was like, y'all, we gonna be hopping into fitness. It was
Mm-hmm.
I think she added the hopping on purpose. You think you slick?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, best friend.
Oh yeah,
I see
I
you.
was I was on the Royal Court for the Omega Psi Phi at my campus. Shout out to the Delta Gamma chapter.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm living. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I was active.
So you a hard working madam there. Okay,
Yeah.
shout out to all of my royal court current and current and those that have bestowed that position in the past. We love y'all and could not do it without y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
So
And I'm definitely gonna answer your secret sauce question.
okay, we ready.
And so the truth is, because if you look at the way the things are going right now with the metaverse and with NFTs and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, there's still a lot of speculation around it, but that's normal. Whenever something is new, we always fight it, right?
Right.
And I'm still, trying to, understand that metaverse world. We will be talking about that a little bit at BHO. But the truth is, the secret sauce to building an NFT is to build community around it. The true sauce to monetizing your platforms on social media is to build community around it. The true way to monetize your mission in your city and your state is to build community around your mission. So the call to action and the secret sauce to your current business model is ask yourself, how strong is my initiative to create community around what I'm doing? You can no longer, you are in danger if you're moving in silence and if you're moving by yourself. If you don't trust people and you kind of like, I'm just gonna do my own thing and whoever wants it or whatever, you are going to find that you don't have the support that you need to carry your mission forward. You
Mm-hmm.
need community as a part of your core values in business. And if you want to monetize this, bring your community somewhere in person. We call that having an event. COVID is still around, still protect yourself, but the world is back open. The streets are open for events. Whether it's a small, you don't have to do it huge. The way my business has grown rapidly is because I decided to be very scared, but to do it scared and to actually found and have an event because I got sick of seeing people do things that I felt like I could do or that I thought of, but they did it first. So
Right.
I said, even if I got to drag myself to the finish line, I'm going to do this event. And I'm glad because I was able to make history. So some of y'all are sitting on the sidelines that looking at people who are building community and doing what you want and having events. If I could tell you to do something today, it's start building a community. Start building a list of email subscribers. Start building back that text message list that you pay the subscription for every month. And once you build community among your following, take them to an experience. Well, they will build lifetime loyalty to your company and to your brand. And that is my the secret sauce that y'all gotta know. And that secret sauce is typically behind a 5 to 10 to 18,000 to $20,000 wall.
Y'all, I done paid good money myself to hear some of that what you just gave us, but from the NFT, y'all see how she broke it down. She started to got y'all attention with the NFT, and y'all know, for those that's been following the Instagram, y'all know that that's my playing field. That I love this NFT stuff, and I've been telling y'all utility. I've been using the word utility, and she said community. Same thing. You add the utility of community. All right, but look, y'all gonna have to come to Beho to learn a little bit more about that one. Y'all gonna have to make certain that y'all following us so y'all can get all of that good. So last question, last but not least, how can we get in touch with you, and how can we support you today?
Yes, honestly, there's nothing more that you can do than to go to the number one conference of the year.com and purchase your 50 ways to make 5K guide. It also puts you on the wait list for BHO so that we can get an actual realistic head count this year of who's actually going to be in the room. This is a $22 pledge to being in the room. And anytime you purchase, if you reach out to me and let me know that you came by way of hearing the Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast, our Mr. All In will receive 50% of the $22. Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
Thank
you, Jesus.
Hold on. Where my button at? Now, let me tell you why I'm so excited. Because I'm the deuce on my line, and everybody know I love doing things in twos. So the fact that I saw it was $22, and the fact that now you breaking it down in the 11, y'all know, shout out to 1911. You go ahead, best friend.
Come on, man. Listen, they don't see that alignment. But if all you gotta do is say, or all you have to do is tell him or tell me, and he will receive that love token for bringing rattlers and people from all over the world who are listening to the Black Entrepreneur Homecoming Experience. The dates are September 8th through the 11th. But we won't be launching tickets until June. So we're working to get a real live wait list going. Okay. So I need y'all on that wait list. That's the onlyest thing I need you to do. Okay. So that we can get in this room. We are doing a march. It's not, we ain't gonna be marching down Selma now, but we're gonna do a march because we need to. This is a spiritual movement. There is something that happens when we lock arms and when we come together. We're going to be doing a march. We're going to have the entire homecoming experience. And we're also going to have that business conference to move your business to the next level. So I would really love to see you there. And that's all you have to do. The number one conference of the year.com and purchase your guide.
The number, say that one more time for those that's driving and they wanted to get it. Just where can they get that one more time?
The number one conference of the year.com. That's all the words. The number one conference of the year.com.
Listen, I don't know what else to tell y'all, but get support right now. All my Rattler support, HBCU support. Y'all already see, we about to take this thing and make it so big that it's gonna be like, this should be bigger than Be Out Day in Atlanta. Y'all know us Rattlers. We come up, we show up, we take over everything. Let's do it. Let's do it, and let's do it big. That like only Rattlers can do. All right, y'all. So I thank you
Don't
again.
Make me stroke your ego no more.
Well, we thank you, Ms. Jones, for all of the sauce you've dropped for us today. Thank you for letting us understand just about your superpower. Like, just y'all go back. I got notes. I got like 3 pages worth of notes, y'all, that I've gotten myself. So I don't know about y'all. This has been a blessing to me. I know it's been a blessing to y'all if y'all just sit here and listen. And I know that God has everything aligned. So I am looking forward to myself being at BHO, doing what we do and looking forward to God showing up and showing out. And y'all, in 75 days, we about to come back to y'all and we gonna show y'all what it looks like when you go all in. So that's the last thing that I have to say. Miss Jones, do you have any final remarks, closing words you got for us today?
I just say, listen, in this order: faith first. Let's all hold ourselves accountable to the fitness piece. We got our health and wellness coach and our spiritual coach right here. And that even goes into flow. This is not a season to stop. When you look at water, it is fluid. It is moving. It is moving at all times if you look at a body of water. And that's what we have to aspire to do in this life. No matter what is happening in life, we have to be flowing. We have to be flowing in our gift. We have to be flowing through our purpose. We have to be flowing through our mission. So this is a masterclass in itself, just a name. So I just hope that everybody leaves here today, that you've been empowered by the information, but then you take the next step to actually implement something you've heard and meet us at the Black Entrepreneur Homecoming Experience.
And y'all, this your boy Mr. All In. That's your girl Miss Jones. And this has been the Faith, Fitness, and Flow podcast. Remember, if you're looking for a scripture, 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24 reads, "Do you not know that in a race all of the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way to get the prize." Until next time, we'll see y'all later. We out this thing. Peace.
Wow.